The night arrived without warning, and the world felt slightly wrong, as if reality had taken a slow breath and forgot to release it. Streets looked normal, yet silence pressed down on every sound. People felt uneasy without knowing why. Inside homes, eyes stayed open longer than usual, and sleep refused to come. Fear moved softly like a shadow without shape. No one screamed, no one ran, yet hearts felt heavier. The air itself carried a message. Something ancient had opened its eyes, and it was watching, waiting. Learning this was not a normal night, this was the beginning of a nightmare that would not stay hidden for long. Beneath a forgotten place far from light, Vecna awakened. His rise was quiet and thoughtful, like a mind slowly forming an idea. He reached into the world not with force, but with memory, touching regret, pain, and fear. Each mind he touched trembled. He saw everything people tried to hide. He fed on what they never spoke. His power grew not through noise, but through understanding. Every fear became a step, every weakness became a door. He did not rush, because fear always deepens with time. Vecna was not here to destroy, he was here to reshape. In another town, laughter faded. Children stopped playing and shadows stretched longer. Pennywise felt the change before anyone else. Fear had always belonged to him, but now it tasted different, sharper, controlled, guided. He emerged from the darkness, curious and cautious. He enjoyed fear, but hated competition. This new presence was not wild or playful, it was patient. Pennywise smiled, but behind the smile was concern. Someone was harvesting fear in a way he never had, and that made him uneasy for the first time in a very long while. Dreams across the world began to shift. Freddy sensed it immediately. Sleep no longer felt free. Dreams moved in straight lines, leading to the same place, the same voice. He stepped into the dream world, confident as ever, yet something felt wrong. Control was slipping away. He mocked the darkness, but the echoes did not answer back. This was not his stage anymore. Someone else was directing the scene, and Freddy did not like sharing attention, especially not with something that understood fear better than he did. On a lonely road, Jason stood unmoving. The world had pulled him here without explanation. The ground felt unstable, as if reality itself was unsure. Nearby, Michael watched silently from the shadows. Even without words, both felt the shift. They were not hunting. They were being guided, drawn into something larger than instinct or habit. The air around them felt heavy with purpose. A presence beyond understanding was calling, and neither could resist. The hunt had changed, and they were now part of a much bigger game. In the dream world, Vecna walked among sleeping minds. People relived moments of loss and regret. He observed calmly, learning what shaped them. Fear bent easily under his control. The sky darkened as the dream space twisted, then a laugh cut through the silence. Pennywise appeared, watching Vecna with interest, not fear. The ground trembled as Freddy entered moments later. His smile faded as he felt the control slipping. Jason and Michael followed without sound for the first time. Legends shared the same space. Vecna raised his hand and everything froze. Dreams stopped breathing. The world held still. His presence filled the space, heavy and commanding. He did not shout, he did not threaten. His message pressed directly into their minds. This world will change. Fear will obey. Even Pennywise stepped back, realizing this was no ordinary rival. Freddy felt anger, Jason felt pressure, Michael felt nothing, yet moved no closer. Control was the true weapon here, and Vecna held it completely. Across the real world, alarms rang, lights shattered, and people screamed without voices. The dream began to collapse, pulling realities together. Vecna stood watching, absorbing, learning, evolving. The legends understood. This was not a simple clash. This was the start of a war for dominance over fear itself. The night no longer belonged to them. The balance was broken, and nothing would return to normal again. The ultimate battle had not yet begun, but its shadow now covered every world. The broken dream world slowly rebuilt itself into something unfamiliar. Sky and ground blended together like a painted illusion. Floating streets, burning forests, and silent houses appeared at once. This new realm did not belong to any single legend. It belonged to Vecna. Fear flowed through the air like energy, and every step echoed with memory. Pennywise moved first, studying the space, sensing trapped emotions. Freddy tested the ground, bending reality slightly. Jason and Michael stayed back, watching. The world was alive, and it was watching them all. Waiting for someone to make the first mistake, Vecna observed them calmly. He was not impressed by strength or reputation. He measured intelligence, patience, and weakness. Fear here was refined, shaped into layers he spoke into their minds without words, showing visions of their past. Pennywise saw forgotten hunger. Freddy felt ignored dreams. Jason felt endless pursuit. Michael felt an empty loop. None of them liked what they saw. Vecna smiled, not with joy, but with certainty. He knew now how to bend each of them. This was no battlefield, this was a mind maze, and they were already inside. Pennywise struck first, shifting forms, spreading illusion, trying to flood the realm with chaos. Laughter filled the air. Fear spiked briefly, but Vecna did not move. He absorbed it, redirected it. The fear changed shape, becoming heavier, slower. Pennywise felt it slip from his control. His tricks no longer echoed freely. Freddy stepped in, twisting the dream space, trying to reclaim dominance. Walls bent, skies folded, but Vecna countered, calmly restoring order like a chess player undoing reckless moves. The balance tipped further away from them. Jason charged forward, driven by instinct. The ground cracked beneath his steps. Each move sent shockwaves through the realm. Michael followed silently, targeting Vecna directly. For a moment, raw force pushed through the control. The realm shook. Vecna stepped back slightly, not in fear, but in calculation. He raised his hand and memory struck them. Images of endless loops, endless silence, endless loss. Their movement slowed, not stopped but burdened. They pushed forward, yet every step felt heavier than the last. Freddy screamed in frustration, realizing this was not a fight of claws or tricks. It was a battle of control. He tried to enter Vecna's mind, but found layers, walls, traps. Vecna had no single center. His mind was everywhere. Pennywise attempted to feed on the rising tension, but the fear tasted wrong. It was refined, already claimed. Jason and Michael continued forward, resisting without understanding, but even they felt the pressure. Something ancient was rewriting the rules. The realm responded. To Vecna, will storms of broken memories fell from the sky. Voices whispered regrets. The legends were forced apart, separated by illusions and shifting ground. Freddy found himself trapped in a repeating dream. Pennywise wandered a place with no fear. Jason stood alone in endless fog. Michael faced an empty street with no prey. Vecna walked freely between them, learning from each reaction, adapting, improving. He was not rushing victory, he was preparing permanence. Freddy escaped first, using focus instead of mockery. He realized fear alone would not win. Understanding was needed. Pennywise slowly accepted the truth. Endless fear would mean nothing. Left to feed on, Jason kept walking, refusing to stop. Michael watched, waiting, calculating in silence. For the first time, they all began to think, not as rivals, but as survivors. Vecna felt the shift and paused. They were learning that made them dangerous. The realm tightened around them, reacting to the change. Vecna spoke again, filling the space with pressure. You cannot win alone. His message was clear. Unity was their only chance, yet unity carried its own risk. Trust had never been their strength. Fear pulsed through the realm, stronger than before, not wild, not playful, but focused. The legends understood this was the point of no return. They either adapted together or faded alone. Far above the realm, cracked light bled through. Realities touching the real world. People screamed and woke crying, unaware why the war had begun, and it was no longer hidden. Part 2 ended not with a strike, but with a realization. The greatest threat was not power, but control, and Vecna still held it. The realm began to shake harder than before. Light and shadow twisted together, as if reality itself was tired of holding shape. Vecna stood at the center, calm and focused, believing the end was already written. Around him, fear moved like a slow storm, controlled and sharp. The others gathered at a distance, no longer separated by illusion. They understood now this was not about defeating each other. This was about stopping a single mind from owning every nightmare ever created. The air grew heavy as the final phase began. Freddy stepped forward, first not with jokes or anger, but with clarity. He entered the dream space deeply, not to control it, but to connect. He reached the shared fear linking all minds. Pennywise followed, changing, not to frighten, but to distract, breaking patterns. Jason moved next, unthinking, unstoppable, drawing attention. Michael positioned himself quietly, waiting for the right moment. Each played a role, not planned yet perfectly timed. Vecna noticed too late. This was not chaos, this was balance. The realm resisted Vecna commands. Fear no longer moved in straight lines. It scattered, unpredictable and alive. He pushed harder, but control slipped. Pennywise restored raw emotion. Freddy bent the dream flow. Jason shattered barriers. Michael disrupted focus. Vecna felt strain for the first time, not pain but limitation. His perfect system cracked as fear returned to its natural state, wild and free. The realm pulsed, violently responding to the change. Vecna tried to adapt, shifting strategy, but unity slowed him. He entered the minds of his rivals, seeking weakness but found resistance. Freddy guarded the dream. Pennywise confused perception. Jason refused memory. Michael offered nothing. Fear turned against control. It could not be owned. Only experienced Vecna realized too late his mistake. He believed fear was a tool, not a force. The realm collapsed inward, pulling energy toward a single point. Vecna struggled to maintain form. His presence flickered between moments, realities, memories. He reached outward, attempting to reclaim control, but fear slipped through his grasp like smoke. The others held their ground, refusing dominance, refusing surrender. The storm peaked, then shattered. Silence followed, not empty, but relieved. The realm stabilized, slowly returning pieces to their rightful places. Dreams loosened, reality breathed again. The legends stood apart, unchanged yet aware. They had not won power, they had preserved balance. Vecna was gone, not destroyed, but scattered across forgotten spaces, unable to focus, unable to control. The world separated cleanly. Nightmares returned to their owners. Dreams became uncertain again. Fear existed as it always had, wild, unpredictable, alive. People in the real world woke shaken but safe, unaware of how close everything came to ending. The night passed without memory. Somewhere in the darkness, echoes lingered, reminding all that fear never disappears. It waits, it watches, and one day it may rise again. But for now, the balance held. The ultimate horror battle ended not with victory but with survival.